I'm the co-founder and CEO of scenario.com. What we develop is a platform specifically for game creators and game studios to create any kind of content that they need at scale using GenAI. And we call it a GenAI engine. I think I will discuss this later. I just have a few slides, and then we go into a live demo as well. Just as a quick introduction, you might not be too familiar with gaming as an industry. 200 billion plus revenue. It's a big market. It's bigger than movies and music and TV all combined. And 40% of what they spend is in content. 2D, 3D graphics, audio, sound, music, voices, all the narrative, dialogues, quests, and so on. How they build the words, how they do marketing as well, which is very costly for them. All of this will be in the near to long-term future AI generated, either by the studio themselves, by the professionals, or by the players as they play. And that's we call this at runtime AI generation. It's like AI-powered user-generated content, and that's a revolution, really. But it comes with a lot of challenges, specifically around consistency, and that's the topic of the talk today. It is not just a vision. It is not just a wish. It's happening right now. And these are numbers from A16Z. Just a few months ago, 87% of studios do use GenAI today already, and 99% want to use it in the future. They use all kinds of tools. Of course, there are thousands out there. ChatGPT, 80%, 90%, probably more now. Midjourney, very, very popular. Stable Diffusion, of course. GitHub Copilot, 50%, hopefully more now. Other LLMs, and they do know about us because we are being used by 20% of the 250 studios that were surveyed. And these studios expressed a strong need. They want to train, let's say they want to fine-tune their own AI models. And there is a reason for this. I think that number will go to 99% in the near future. And before we go on, just quick question among these names. Who has tried Midjourney ever? Yeah, a good 80, 85, 90%. Who has tried Stable Diffusion, any kind of Stable Diffusion? A bit less. And who has tried Firefly? About 10 hands. Who has tried DALL-E 3? But a bit more, 15, 20 hands. Thank you very much. Midjourney is definitely the most popular of all. Big kudos to the team and David and the team. But we'll see Midjourney might not be the platform on which studios are going to scale. There are many, many challenges when it comes to GenAI. Of course, they will be solved. But today, the feedback from the market is it's too random. It's way too random. It goes for text. It goes for 2D as well. It is definitely hard to nail the consistency of images with just prompting. And if you tried Midjourney, you know that one word can change your output a lot very quickly. And how to navigate prompting is very, very, can be tricky. The user interface is all over the place, from very complex to very simple. Sometimes people don't really know which parameters are going to influence the output. People don't know about IP. Is it copyrightable? We can discuss that in the panel and later. Lots of other challenges. And it's not really yet integrated deeply into the existing workflows. That's the challenges. And we fix them. We fix them because we let studios train their own AI models so they can better nail the consistency. We guide them, and I will demo it through inference prompting. Which parameters matter the most? Where do they have to play to guide their exploration? How to edit fine details? How to create variants? We run on AWS, so it's the highest, it's the top, world most secure cloud in the world that allows for full data traceability, and they need it to also prove where the data comes from, and that impacts IP copyright. And everything we do is built on our API, which anybody can use. We do have a web app, that's going to be the demo, but any feature in the web app can be used in Unity, Unreal, in the games, and like literally any interface, as long as you know how to integrate an API. And that's how we will go into runtime generation while keeping style consistency, because that's the cornerstone. Like no product out there, whether they're $1 billion company or a small startup, no product out there will scale, at least for gaming, if it's not style consistent. Everybody knows about Angry Birds, right? Try getting red the way it is in the movie in Midjourney, DALL-E 3, SDXL. You'll get a bird, it's going to be red, it's going to be angry, for sure. It's not going to be that like character that you need. If you fine-tune with the right training data and with the right parameters, you'll get full reproducibility. And that's what I called, and I just got the idea today, drum rolls, cross-dimensional style consistency. You can play with style consistency across dimension, whether it's your style, different objects, different poses, and so on. So what you see here is, of course, we start with 2D assets, even though we're gonna extend into videos and 3D and so on. But style consistency has to be proven at scale for 2D, whether it's a character, props, potion, whatever, weapons and so on, vehicles, buildings, environment, backgrounds, and so on. You have to impose a style and stick with it, whether it's a cozy, whether it's a watercolor illustration, whether it's realistic, whether it's pixel art, and there are hundreds and thousands of styles. So there we go. Hopefully you're still with me now. Here is the scenario web app. A very simple interface where you might see in the demo different concepts. These are generators, basically fine-tuned model. We call them generators for a reason. They do generate images and canvas. Let's first take a look at generators. So generators are custom-trained AI model built on top of either Stable Diffusion 1.5 or SDXL. Thank God we have open source software, because we were able to really kickstart this project with little funding, thanks to Stable Diffusion and stability. A generator is usually made of 10 to 20 images that are style consistent. And I'm going to show you how we can train one. So let's go new generator. Let's say I'm going to make an anime style portrait generator. I'm going to pick some images. I've prepared them, of course. It's a set of 20 images here. It could be more, it could be less. It has to be consistent around something. Something could be a style, something could be an object, something could be a shape. But the AI has to recognize what is consistent across these images. I think there is a grid down there. Here you go. Yeah, that's the one. So I'm going to pick a few of them. 20. Upload. Accept. And that's about it. Once the images will be all online, I will just pick a few parameters, or I will go with the recommended settings, hit train, and wait usually 15 to 30 minutes. And the AI will have learned what I want the AI to learn. The something, the style, the shape, the object, and so on. Obviously, because we are in a demo here, I will not be able to, we won't wait for the 20 minutes for the generator. So I will switch to the pre-trained generator, and I will keep the same style even though we have dozens or hundreds to play with. And you're happy to, I'm happy to let you also share some ideas of prompt and topics that we might want to play with. Even though the first run will be for me, just to make sure the demo works. Here we go. 20 images. Of course, you can, there are many tricks to improve some training data. Typically, you can have like different poses, different skin color, different zooms, and so on. So let's go next. Well, advanced parameters are about training steps, learning rates, training classes. You can affect a token. It's not too complicated. You need a few hours to learn about it. And you don't need, because we run on a cloud interface, you don't need to set up a collab. You don't need to buy your own GPU. You don't need your own gaming PC. You just pick, in this case, we have avatars of persons, and start training. Here we go. So anybody with just a Gmail account can train their own fine-tuned model in very, very little time. That generator, the same generator, is right here. And I've made a bunch of images. But before showing you the images, we'll go to the image generation interface. So I'm going to do create images. I'm going to pick my animate avatar designer. And I'm going to pick some prompts. And I've prepared a few around persons. You know, man, woman, old, young, teenage. So let's take the first one. I paste my prompt. For those who cannot read because they're too far, old man, white hair, with a beard, and glasses. Let's go. Usually it takes a few seconds. The first inference, the model is being transferred to the hot storage. So it takes a little bit more. But while we wait for the first generation to show up, as you can see, I selected Anime Avatar Designer, which was pre-trained. But what if we select another style, which I would have trained before, a JRPG style? Let's do one other inference. And let's pick another one. How about something very minimalist? Another line. Another style. Let's do cel-shaded. Very, very popular for indie dev these days. And the last one. It's a generator we call pudgy props. It's a very pudgy-like style. Here we go. Look at the 4 images here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the exercise, I will display the training data that we had before. AI user. And this was the training data. Again, training data, generated data. And I did not have to describe that I wanted anime people in a portraits with a specific zoom and so on. So great reproducibility, very efficient, very productive. Artists love it. And all the debate about artists being replaced by AI, I think will die down quite soon when artists will realize AI is their best friend to work faster while keeping their own style and their own art and their own expertise and so on. So first row was the man with the beard and so on. Then, if you remember, we selected other generators. That's the JRPG adventure generator. We have a world man, glasses and everything, different style. A minimalist, here we go. Again, it was the same prompt. I did not have to write down that I wanted a minimalist vector style design, blah, blah, blah. Cel-shaded and pudgy. That's my favorite. It's very simple, but it's a great model for 2D to 3D conversion, by the way. That works quite well. So pretty cool, right? Why don't we do another prompt here? Somebody give me a number between 2 and 10. Anybody? Louder? I heard 7. I promise I heard 7. Toddler. Let's go. And let's do the anime again. So switch back to anime. Delete the prompt. Copy the new prompt. Toddler, pigtailed braids, rosy cheek, button nose. Enter. And I'm gonna do another one. The teenage girl, or what about the young adults? So we have every age. Here we go. One thing, so while we wait, one thing we might struggle with when we speak about consistency is the pose. What we call it, the composition of the image. maybe we want like full face portrait, or maybe we want a bit on the side or a silhouette. It's possible to impose that as well while keeping the style. So we use something called composition control with a reference image. So I'm going to pick a reference image here. I'm going to select it from the library, actually. I've uploaded a few before the demo. These are some reference images. So let's say I want a very straight portrait, such as this one here. You see the girl? Well, I can ask the AI to learn some parameters from that reference image. And it could be just a pose. So a mode map is being generated right now. For those who are familiar, it's basically control net. And here, every image generated will stick to the pose that has been analyzed. Or it could be the depths. A depth map is going to be generated. Every image will stick to the depth map. And there is a way to play on the influence for that reference image. I will show you how. Well, before we go, that's the toddler. Very anime. And that's the young adult, dark skin, dreadlocks. What did we have here? Again, nose rings and sharp jawline. Oh, it's small bug. It might have missed the nose ring, but we might add it manually later. So what if we go back to a girl now? Teenage girl, brunette. Let's make it very simple. We don't like too long prompts. We don't think prompt engineer is a thing, by the way. I think it's going to go away. Maybe it's a controversial topic here. I want that teenage girl, anime, and I want it with the same pose at the reference image. Here we go. And then I will combine depths and the pose. So we call it character. And I'm going to run it as well. And now the AI will take the prompt, the fine-tune, the reference image, and the mode that we selected, whether it's the pose or the depths. And we can go on and on. We can play on, guidance, which is the strength of the prompt. We can play on steps. We can play on the seed as well. So I love to take the analogy of a huge world that was created by Stability, maybe DALL-E, maybe others. It's the latent space. And the role for us and others is to provide the compass, the map, for people to explore the latent space in a very structured way. And that's really, I think, how AI will develop in the future. I think these big models that are magical today we might go into an over-personalization of AI. Here is my anime girl with the same pose. Look at the position of the eyes. So the hair is definitely changing, and she's a brunette. But we have different hair while keeping the same position for the eyes, nose, mouth, etc. Now, what if we selected character? That's the last line above. It's loading at the moment. As you can see, there is much more consistency across these 4 images. And the style, the anime style with anime eyes, nose, mouth, etc. was kept. So this is how I want to demonstrate that it is possible to finally escape the randomness of these models. And listen, I love Firefly, I love DALL-E, over-impressed about ChatGPT with DALL-E inside, but if we do the same prompt, the old man with white hair, beard and glasses, and we add anime, that's what we get on Firefly. Perfect images, no question. Are they consistent with my style? No. Same thing for Bing, DALL-E 3. Anime, quite another type of anime, but not my style. I would love to demonstrate the canvas and stuff. So I have been able to organize all my images on Scenario with collections and tags. I can search them. They are automatically captioned. There is a way to manage that data at scale. And I've made a few images a few weeks ago. I called it Samurai Girl. It's that girl. She might be sometimes happy or she might be sad. And I like them quite a lot. But what if I really like the expression, but for some reason, as a game developer, I want to create variants by really editing some detail? Well, that's possible by going into Canvas, where I will go into the manual mode and I will decide which detail has to be changed, and the AI will finish the job. So I guide the AI does the heavy lifting. What if we want to change the color of the hair? Make them blue. Select blue, play a little bit on brush size and opacity, as you can see here, and just sketch precisely where you want the detail to be changed. This is a typical example, but it could be adding sunglasses. It could be, changing the expression from happy to sad, or it could be changing the outfit. That's typical for gamers or game developers. And once this is done, I just make sure by masking, as I do it here, I just make sure that the AI will only change the parts that I selected. And then we're going to do blue hair. And that's a girl. And I'm going to play with influence. I want pretty high influence in that case. By playing on influence from 1 to 100, I basically guide the AI to stay as close as possible to the original image. That's more like 50 to 100 influence. Or I will let the AI be more creative. That's more like 0 to 50. So it takes a bit to understand which are as a designer, as an artist, your favorite parameters. But once people get it, it is so much easier than trying to prompt things out, which might be difficult. So there we go. It's coming. We have 4 choices. I could have picked 1, 2, or 16 generations as well. We have a way to play on the number of images. And let's see what the AI comes up with. On that one, I played with it and I changed the color of the eyes and I make it all blue. So I created variants it's like the blue bioman and the red bioman and the green bioman and so on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's say I love this one, accept, there we go. So I should have painted or sketched the other one, the other hair, and it would have been perfect. Many other features to talk about. It's a pretty extensive platform. We are a team of 25 based in the US, San Francisco. I'm in SF. We're in France as well, Ukraine, Brazil. We've raised $6 million with VCs and angels, and we want to go far. Thank you very much. The file types, as you can see today, right now on Scenario, are 2D images, more specifically PNGs. The resolution ranges from 512 by 512 when you use Stable Diffusion 1.5 natively, but it can go to 1024 by 1024, and it can be upscaled to 2K, 4K, even above. What comes next will be vectorization of these images, especially when using the Canva tool, which I've used last, where every layer independently can be kept separately. The hair, glasses, if I had made glasses, and so on. Other format that will go next will be videos and 3D. And the topic of today is style consistency. We believe that it will all start with 2D images to nail down the style, and these 2D images will be used as the base for videos and 3D models. So I'm a big believer in 2D to 3D versus text to 3D, which might have some application, of course. And this is my own Sketchfab account. Big fan of Sketchfab, early customer. These are 3D models that have been made with from scenario images. This is not yet on Scenario. It's something we're working on. It is far from being production ready, but it's quite decent. I can even show you where that guy come from. It's coming from the Pudgy style generator, and it might be somewhere here. It's one of these. There we go. All right. Not perfect, but coming. So get ready. Yes. So TLDR, it either it's being fixed or it has been fixed. If you look at the latest Firefly generations, it is fixed, but it's very realistic. And so remember 1.5 came out a year ago. We were all amazed about 1.5. And remember Midjourney 3 in June was amazing. Now they're at V5.2 or soon V6, 5.3, I don't know. It's going to be fixed, and it's being fixed right now. It's just a matter of improving the models. They are using it across the game development cycle. They are using it for concepting, ideation. By the way, they are using also Midjourney for concepting and ideation, and it's great. But they're also using it for, prototyping, localizing, when you have to develop a game that will fit for, I don't know, Asia and Europe, but not the same style or building. That's possible today, to localize assets with AI. They are using it for in-game assets. They are using it for marketing as well. Some studios say, hey, we've sped up process by 10x just for ideation, and it's going to save us $200K a year. 20 people, $200K a year. Ubisoft is about to launch a game where every player, AI generates their own avatars and an object and so on, 5 million images. Sandbox is putting scenario in the hands of creators so they can imagine new worlds and new props and new characters and so on. Darewise does marketing, prepares marketing assets with scenario. It's quite broad. And we see other use cases like comic creators, graphic novels, webtoons, even though it's a minority of the users today. Yeah. So in that case, what people would typically do as users, they will not train a style as I've done. They will train a character, and they will train typically enough images of that character, probably 20, depending on full body or details and so on. And they will try to teach the AI to really reproduce that character and only that character. Let me tell you, it's the trickiest challenge of all right now versus training a style, where when you train a style, you want to keep some creativity, right? When you train a character, you're talking about IP, Red, or Captain America, the Joker. Like it has a very specific visual feature that the AI has to reproduce. With LoRa's, with SDXL, with ControlNet and so on, this is becoming a reality. This was not the case just a few months ago. The only reason why I'm a little bit cautious, it's expectations for AI are immense. They're huge because it's all on Twitter. People expect to have a beautiful output right away, but it's not real life. Like business is not Twitter, and you might have to sometimes work weeks on a model until you refine it enough so it outputs the right images and models. And because of Midjourney and ChatGPT, which are amazing, people expect to have it right here, right now, in less than 5 minutes. But that's not what B2B and enterprises will look for on the long term. It is not a great idea to write a long prompt because say you have a prompt with 20 words versus a prompt with 2 words or 3 words. If you give the AI 20 words, you don't know exactly which weight each word, each token is going to bring into the output. So consumers have been amazed about 20, to 50 words prompt on Midjourney and others, making amazingly detailed images. That's fantastic. Are these prompts suitable to really guide and generate style consistent controlled images? The answer is absolutely no. It is too hard to really say that token should have a 5% influence, that other one 20% influence, and so on. Therefore, the recommended way is to train what you want the AI to always stick with, and then play on much shorter prompt, 5, 6, 7, 10 tokens that you exactly know how to control. And these tokens, by the way, might be, you might increase the weight of the token. You might say old man, or I don't know, glasses, plus, and maybe red glasses, plus. There we go. In that case, I tell the AI to give more importance to the token red glasses. But if you do that on 20 words, you're going to be lost very quickly. So that's my long answer to your question. When you're 25 people with 6 million in funding, it doesn't make sense to fight OpenAI that has billions in funding and that's made DALL-E 3. So it's better to leverage open source software. Oh, by the way, see, didn't get my red glasses. I'm going to try it again. So we are big advocates of open source. We've built the V1 that I call it the V1, based on Stable Diffusion 1.5 SDXL coming in a few days. For 2D to 3D, open source models are out there as well. What just came out a few weeks ago are Gaussian Splat, and that seems to work very well, either from one single image or from a few images. Let's say 4 images or 3 images, front, back, side, for a character. But the same could be for a isometric building, house or a chest or whatever. There we go. We get the glasses. The challenge for that image is that the AI has no clue what the back is looking like. But if we use composition control, and if we use composition control with a reference image that will have different poses, then each pose will be consistent with my prompt. And these independent images will feed a Gaussian Splat algorithm, nerf-like algorithm, and so on. And I think that's how 2D to 3D will progress. Gaming is a huge market in itself. It's even way too big for just one company, of course. By the way, there are 40, 50, Gen AI companies targeting gaming. If you line up 2D and 3D and sound and VFX and videos and so on, that's a massive market. I mean, it's going to be it's an opportunity to build a business that's bigger than Unity. And actually, the reason why we call Scenario a Gen AI engine is I believe games will be built on Scenario the same way they are built on Unity, either to build the game before it's being shipped or to support the game at runtime. So I definitely see gaming as a big enough business to build a unicorn. Decacorn would say my investors. It's really big. There will be other use cases, and I welcome them. And by the way, gaming has often been an industry, defining new technologies that are being adopted by others, education, movies, marketing, and so on. But I'd rather go vertical and do a one-stop shop solution than a horizontal business, which Firefly, Midjourney, and DALL-E are today. It is very early in the market. It is very chaotic. Things will structure themselves, and we'll go from tech-focused companies to workflow-focused companies. Right now, it's mostly tech-focused startups. I do 2D, I do audio, I do 3D. Tomorrow, it's going to be, I do a game. So that's how we think.